So this was late 2014, and I got too aggressive on a short position, and they started to squeeze late in the day, and I didn't take the losses like I should have. I kept thinking, oh, it'll come back down, and it kept going against me and against me. And then the worst thing that happened is when your broker calls you, says, hey, we gotta liquidate these positions, you know. And I remember I lost over half my trading capital in one day. And I still had trading capital at the time, but it mentally wrecked me.
Because you had, if I'm not mistaken, about multiple six figures maybe at the time.
Yeah. And then it mentally wrecked me, and I wasn't able to come back from that. I kept going on losing streaks and stuff like that. And eventually I ended up draining all my capital, and I had to stop. Clearly I wasn't, you know, and then the problem is I had gone full time and I had no backup source of income or anything like that. So I completely stopped trading. You know, I started my Weightology business, which was, you know, fitness related. So I focused on that, but on the side, I still did paper trading on the side because I knew that I could trade. I had to get out of my own way. And I felt like I had to establish a better set of rules for myself and everything like that. But I knew someday I would come back, but I had to.
When it first happened, did you think that way as well? Or did you think, oh, maybe this is it?
When it first happened, I didn't think that. I thought, oh, okay, I can come back. But I think I was mentally I just wasn't in the right frame of mind anymore. So yeah, I spent, I think, 2 years paper trading. Didn't trade with real money at all because I wanted to make sure there's a difference between paper trading and real trading. I mean, you have to feel the pain of losing real money. But at the same time, I still recommend paper trading to beginner traders because if you can't make money paper trading, you're sure as hell not going to make money you're not going to make with real money.
That's true. Yeah.
So you at least got to show that you have an edge, right? And so I established, okay, I got an edge, strategies are working. Then I was able to build up just enough capital to start some small trading accounts again. And I was under the pattern day trader rule at the time. So I split my money among, I think it was 3 or 4 accounts. So I could at least get 3 day trades in each account.
Yeah.
And I just started to go from there. And it started to ramp up. And, you know, and this was late 2018, early 2019, I had started again. And 2019 had a decent year. 2020 got even better. And then 2021 was my breakout year. And really that started into 2020. There was literally like a 3-month, it's kind of weird. The majority of the money I've made probably happened in a 3-month period. I just took advantage of the market conditions. But this time I was smart. I paid myself. And I still do this. If I'm not trading well, I size down or I pull money out of the account so I'm not trading with as much. The fact is I've, you know, most of that money I've made, I've protected. And
I think that was the main lesson from the previous.
From cycle. The previous is you got to pay yourself, you know, when things are going good, because you never know when things are going to go bad. And just mentally, it puts you in a better frame of mind, right? So if I do go through a rough patch now, I'm also much better. I'm much better at obeying stop losses and stuff. I mean, really, in the past couple of years, I think there's only been maybe 2 times where I did not obey a stop loss. So it's like, I'm really good about taking losses now too, which has also kept, you know, me in the game. Because you hear about this, you hear about a lot of traders, like you'll see some new traders who made all this money, and then a year or 2 later, you never hear about them again.
Yeah, well, during that period where you had that huge P&L, that's what most people who did make money in that time, apparently most of them are just gone now.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Probably a lot of them, they end up losing it all, and you never hear about them again. And it's like me, I've kept most of my profits because I pay myself, because, you know, I save money, because I size down when I'm not doing well. I have, even though I'm a day trader, my perspective is long-term. I want to be able to trade for the next 10 or 15 years. So I don't want this one trade that I'm doing now to ruin the next 10 years or whatever, right? And if I'm on a little losing streak, I have to think about, hey, I just got to manage my risk. And here's another important statistic. And I don't remember where I saw this. I read that something like most profitable traders make most of their money on only like 20% of trading days. Yeah. And I think that's an important perspective that even really influenced me, because it shows you that when things aren't going as well, make sure you're managing your risk, because the good days will come again. And if you're controlling your losses and keeping your risk small, even good traders, the best traders don't make money every day.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's the expectations that people put on their trading is just false expectations, unrealistic expectations. Because I remember in that same podcast I'd watched, you talked about one of the reasons for the huge loss and blowing up at that time was you're comparing to other traders who were like sizing up big.
That was another thing. I got caught up. There were a couple traders in the Investors Underground chat room that I kind of got caught up in comparing myself to, even though I didn't need to. I was trading fine on my own. And I would see how much size they would use. And so I started to try to imitate their size, and that just,
And then now you stick to, if I'm not mistaken, a 2% rule. So you risk 2%.
Yeah. So when I'm not trading as well, I go down to 1%, but my max is 2% of my capital per trade. So, and what that means is wherever my stop loss is, if a trade hits my stop loss, I'll lose 2% of my capital. Right now it's at 1% because I felt like I haven't been as consistent as I want to be. And so for me, it's like I have to earn the right to bigger position sizes. So like once I go on about, let's say, a 10R net winning streak or whatever, not 10 winning trades in a row, but basically 10R net, which I'm pretty close to that over the past week. I've made like a 9.5R over the past week. I'll bump it up to 1.5%. Once I go another 10R, then I'll go back to 2%, but I'll never go beyond 2%. Because once I remember that was another thing that kind of led to that blow up, or after that blow up, I thought, I think I could get away with risking like 3% of capital per trade. But the problem is when you start doing that much, if you go on a losing streak, your drawdowns get really big. And that's the other thing to a lot of traders. They got to think about, you can't just think about what's most profitable, but also how does it psychologically affect you? Like me personally now, I would rather be a little bit less profitable, but more consistent. Like when I'm keeping stats on my trades and everything, I would rather have a trading strategy that has, maybe it gives less trade opportunities, but it has a higher winning percentage. So it's more consistent. Cause there's some good trading strategies out there that will be profitable over time, but you'll have kind of wild swings. And
so you're going for like quality over quantity.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like mentally, like I don't like the wild swings. And so you have to think about whatever trading strategy you choose for yourself. It has to fit your risk tolerance and your psychology. Some traders, they can handle the wild swings. They're cool with it, but I'm not. So I have to do, what works for me.
I heard you say in terms of the percentage risk, you think that most traders out there should probably try and adopt that versus your contract sizes or your dollar amounts.
Yeah. I really like percentages because the sizing kind of takes care of itself. Because if you're trading well and your account is growing, well, the amount you risk per trade grows because it's a percentage that you're risking, right? If you're not trading as well and your account is shrinking, well, you're risking less and less as your account shrinks. So,
it's a term, if I'm not mistaken, is like negative compounding. If I'm not mistaken, could be wrong there, so don't shoot the messenger. But it's simply like you can't essentially blow up your account if you're constantly using the risk element, because as long as you keep going down, because most people might go, okay, if you're risking 1%, 100 trades you've lost. But it doesn't end up being that, because as long as you're sticking to that 1% for the capital amount, the balance amount, then it will consistently get lower.